Welcome back to episode 3 of Building in Public. This is just a weekly breakdown series where I go through some of the learnings I've captured over the last week of scaling my company to $60,000 a month. I'll try to make the lessons and insights as broad and as applicable as possible, so if the exact model I'm building does not align with you, you can still take some of these learnings. There's a core focus on Facebook ads, specifically the creative side, UGC, static videos, graphic ads, all that kind of stuff. So if that is something you're really interested in, we do dive into that every week. But yeah, for those of you who are new, welcome. This channel is slowly growing and I love it. The intent seems really high, so I appreciate every single one of you. As always, all the links are in the bottom if you want to follow me personally or professionally. Let's get into it. So I think it's best just to kind of start with an update on our active clients. So last month we had finished with 5, and this month we're starting with 5. The brutal reality is that not every month is going to be a month where we increase, and obviously that is the goal, but I'm in no way, shape or form trying to just maximize for volume here. I'm really looking for quality brands that align with what we do, and we had 2 potential leads that we're looking to close. However, it became a point of redundancy with trying to convince them of the offer. I truly believe that we are providing an exceptional offer with a money-back guarantee. So it is hard to provide more value than saying we will give you your money back if it doesn't work. So that was clearly a limiting belief that the client had around either their own success or I guess like our offer. I'm not a pushy salesman. I created this offer in the hopes that I wouldn't have to sell people on it too hard. So yeah, that's just a reflection of me. You'll never get a really hard pitch. But what is really interesting is obviously since those 2 calls, as we go into this coming week, the week that had just gone, we had 8 calls booked in, and that ties in perfectly with what we're currently building update. So as I spoke about last week, we had refined some of our lead generation on Facebook and had relaunched the campaigns with 3 new creatives. We were going to be testing a founder offer video, a value video, and a testimonial from one of our clients. All 3 ads were being split across 2 different audiences using a Campaign Plus budget, which means it's going to be split across both audiences. Facebook kind of determines that versus individually setting a budget at the ad set level. What was really interesting though, and kind of something I had expected, was that the strongest performing creative in both audiences was our testimonial. And when I read out, you'll probably get why. It was from a client that we took on board at around $30K a month, and purely from our own creatives. As the month that just ended, we took them from $30K when we started 2 years ago to just crossing $600K a month quite consistently. Well and truly hitting over $1 million when it comes to Black Friday and some of the biggest sales in the year. So really exciting, but all calls booked in through that. Although there was 8 calls booked in, they were all activewear brands. And the biggest bottleneck you're probably wondering is why that's great, is we are exclusive with the client we work with. And I know, again, probably a poor reflection on what you guys might think is needed to scale a business. Why would I lock myself off to one client in one niche? And it just goes back to what I was saying before, which is I am all about quality of clients versus quantity. And my dream would really be to have probably 1 client in every single industry and look after them for as many years as possible. So yeah, I'm in no rush to move a client that I have a lot of respect and belief in just for a couple of quick cash grabs that'll be gone in a few months. So, but for those who are interested in the data and the amount spent, we spent $138 over the course of 6 days, and we had 8 calls booked in, which resulted in a $17 cost per call book in, which is honestly insane, to be honest. I've ran campaigns before where you're spending about $100 a day and you might get a qualified lead book in at around 100, 125. If you get under 100, it's really lucky. Because obviously what you're trying to do is when you're getting them to book in a call, you really have to make sure you're qualifying them as best as possible. And you could either do that through non-negotiable questions on Calendly, or you could send them straight to a type form. This round of creatives, we just tested Calendly, so sending straight into booking in. Then I was able to filter them and basically respond to those who tried to book in and just cancel them. It's unfortunate, even though it very clearly says no activewear brands, but that's all right. So the pivot moving forward, and I guess like what we are going to be doing as a reflection of this, is we're going to be using one of our other testimonials from a client, which sounds very obvious. We'll actually be shooting that tomorrow, so the 7th of October, and going live with that pretty much the same day. I want a really quick turnaround with that because I believe we found the audience in terms of who's going to convert and book in the calls. It's just a matter now of finding a creative that allow us to secure a client that we can actually work with. Right, so the win of the week, this is something that's probably just quite overlooked with a lot of agencies, but we actually had 2 long-term clients re-sign, and it just kind of solidified to me the point of one, the quality of the clients you work with is more important than the quantity, but also looking after the clients you have is sometimes more important than getting the clients you don't. The biggest reason is the clients you currently have are the levers you can pull to get more clients. If you have no clients, you don't have financial stability, you don't have proof that your offer is working, nothing. You have no soundboard, nothing, no proof of who you are or what you're saying you can do. So I think it's quite overlooked. You know, you can churn and burn 100 clients, but our average retention rate at Stay a While, and that was the whole play on the name, is our average client stays with us for 9 months. Which in the agency space is, again, not a small feat. So I'm really proud of that. But that really does come down to looking after the clients we have. So this is now the learning of the week. And this is something that I've tested with the ads we just ran as well, which is really interesting. This is the first time I've ever ran ads for my business under my personal Instagram account. And I was testing a theory, people buy from people, not businesses, at least this day and age, which is really interesting. Long gone are the days where like the really polished Instagram and feed was like the vibe and what everyone was after, and now it's like this race to like how can we make this look as ugly and as authentic as possible, which as someone who has creative OCD is really hard to watch, but I get it. It makes the barrier to entry so low. Everyone can get in and compete, so I encourage everyone to be playing in this game right now. It's never been cheaper to buy in. What the learning kind of really explains to me and highlights is if you follow any agency accounts or any other business owner accounts, they're either half showing off their like Bugattis and their like fancy cars and all of that nonsense, which I think is the cringiest stuff I've ever seen in my life. But that's for some people, so who am I to judge? But versus the agency owners, business owners, founders, whatever you want to call it, who just distill value and keep it raw and authentic. I've actually been suckered in to a lot of their like sales calls or their like pitch meetings because I feel like I know them better. So I think if I could like just distill the learning down to like one simple thing, it would be you can use all of your areas online to almost break down any objections that a client may have on the sales call. There is definitely an inherent risk that when people meet you on your social profile, that if that is not an accurate or, honest reflection of who you are, they will make an assumption on you based on that account. So again, like I said, if your account is just Bugattis and really abstract images and hints that you're a businessman versus the opposite, which is just very clear, compelling value, I think you are going to acquire and attract 2 different types of audiences. So a really great example is Jay Wright is probably like the king of Facebook ads in Australia. And I've so much love and respect for that man and what he's done. And a great example, for the reason he's a good example, is he runs most of the ads for his company through his personal account. And it seems very authentic. It pops up in the feed, looks very native. And I think that's a huge lever that you guys could pull and test moving forward. Is I know you've probably inherently wanted to come across as being this like put together brand and wanting to acquire new customers that way, but I'd encourage you to think, when you go and buy from people or places, is it the staff, is it the venue, what is it about that business that makes you buy? And when I think about even something from simple as hospitality all the way through to the clothes I wear, the more I know the people that run the brand, the more likely I am to buy. And I think that's the same with services. So see what you can do with that. So we're going to finish the video with a creative of the week, which is every single week I will show you a creative that we have actively given to a client, has performed, and we are now able to share with you those results. The creative of the week we're going to share is definitely not a new one, and I think there's a brand called Ridge Wallet who basically like pioneered this, but everyone should be stealing it, everyone should be using it. It's applicable to, I'd say, 99.9% of every products. And it is a problem solution graphic call out, which is essentially us versus them. The key here, and two takeaways I just want to really distill, is if you're in an industry that is super competitive and saturated, you don't necessarily always have to attack the competition or shame them. You know, sometimes if you have iterated on an internal product so many times, it's almost nicer to even just critique your own work. It shows an understanding that you are growing as a company, and also lets people feel like you're not, I keep swearing in these videos, bombing the competition. You know, I think it's nice to show up and just be comfortable knowing your product's improving. So us versus them could be you versus you, your brand 12 months ago versus your brand now, your product 12 months ago, your product now. It's like a really cheeky way to just show that your company's getting bigger and bigger. But the other call out is essentially the problem and then the solution. So a really easy example is, this is for one of the clients called Sage and Twine, and their product is Macram hat hangers. And the whole idea is that they can help you declutter your space and also turn your fashion into art. It's a very clear and obvious pain point. So we went down essentially the decluttering route. You know, the fact that your wardrobes may look like this is your problem. This is our solution. Super simple and a very easy and applicable thing for every brand, creator, whatever you want. Works for services, everything. The key here, and the most important part, is making sure that you're actually hitting the pain point that is going to generate sales or really like push your customer to a place of buying. If you are just wanting to figure out what that pain point is, I would suggest creating 3 to 5 variations, each with a different pain point for a potential target audience, and testing them all. You'll notice pretty quickly which one aligns with that client. And look, there's so many advances with AI these days that if you can get away with creating the problem in AI, you also can then reduce the production costs that are needed to produce it. We currently obviously use a lot of AI, but not for our creatives as of yet. To be fully transparent, we use AI in our creative strategy and ideation to remove the guesswork of like what's going to work. But yeah. Alrighty, so that's episode 3 all done, and look, this one felt quite heavy, so I don't apologize for it, but I hope that there is some value in this ramblings of a madman trying to build his company to the next big thing. I'm loving these more long form content videos, but all I would ask is that if you could drop a comment and just let me know if there is something that you would love to see more of, and just give me like a 1-word thing. Could be creative, could be copywriting, could be on shoot. If you guys want to come along with us to see a photo shoot or a video shoot or a UGC day or whatever that looks like, I really just want to provide the most value possible, and that only starts with having open and honest communication. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next Sunday. I also think, right, like everyone thinks that if you win Monday, you like win the week. I think if you win Sunday, you win the week, because technically the week hasn't started yet. So you can start Monday already knowing that you're going to win the week, versus having to like get that win in on a Monday. Food for thought.